I just thought you was just shitty editing.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I can do it too.
unnecessary.
I can do it too. Worst editing ever. Sorry.
Wow. Okay, coming in very hostile for 2025.
And you
So,
know what? That fucking did it. So go fuck yourself.
okay, very strong emotions here. Oh, now you've gone
Really sorry
quiet.
about that.
Now
I'm
you've
really
gone
sorry.
quiet.
Have I? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, now you're loud again. Yes.
Yeah. So don't worry about it. That's fine.
Cool.
Just moving that slightly away because it's not necessary anymore.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Yeah. Looks. Yeah.
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 Cool. Cool. Yeah. Cool. Let's not even mention the new app or anything. Um. Hello. Happy New Year.
If this becomes a running joke,
Well, I'm just saying. Well, we've spent a lot of time. Spent a lot of time.
give it
That's
up.
fine. I'm saying. I'm
Give
just
it
saying.
up.
I'm saying. I'm glad that there's visual proof. I'm glad that you can see how many fingers I'm holding up. Like we have clips. We have social media.
I
I'm
believed.
happy.
I believe. Last episode, I saved the day quote.
What did you do?
Save the day with the microphones. I brought gear. I hired gear. I hired a guy. We had
You hired a
an
guy.
assistant for one
Yeah.
day.
So that's why my dad was standing there holding the boom mic.
Yeah, that was
Very
your
quiet
dad.
for him. Very quiet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then you know what? This is how I go beyond. What's the expression? I go
Beyond the pale.
beyond above and abummed. Um, I
You go above
bought
and a
a
bum.
new because I thought that the audio actually sounded quite crisp with the new microphone. So you know what? I'll Nick hates it when I, tap with the USB mic.
Yeah.
So I'll get a stand. Bought a
Yeah.
stand.
Love it.
Bought a pop filter.
It's amazing.
It's gonna sound really good.
I appreciate that. That's so good. Thank you so much.
How was your trip?
It was really nice. Thank you. I've been driving all day, so I decided to start this episode standing.
Well, you're texting me quite a bit of it, so I hope you weren't texting and driving.
I like to just spend a little minute. They say stop, rest, revive. And what I
Those are
skip
texts
was the
that you're
stop
sending.
bit. I skip the stop. But I do just take a brief moment when I'm driving to check my phone and just mentally refresh, scroll a little Insta, find a video that's like a ha-ha, and then you can
You
get
got
back
it.
onto the road.
You got to do it. I love those. I'm getting a lot of like autism videos popping up in
Okay.
my Instagram reels, just like
Okay.
sweet ones.
Just
Some
like the guy who
horrible
just
ones as
got
well,
like a new
actually.
job and he like comes back and he's really excited to see his mum and his mum's like so proud of him.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw one with an autistic dog the other day, which was quite heartwarming.
How do you diagnose a dog with autism?
Well, you just get like,
Or is it a dog
sit
for people with autism like a hearing aid dog is for blind people? It's a vision dog,
well,
not a hearing aid
well,
dog.
well, now that you say that, that's probably more likely. It was probably more that rather than a dog that could just, was really into trains or something.
I mean, yeah, it does seem diagnostically difficult if your criterion is likes moving vehicles. I mean, that's very hard to distinguish from most dogs.
Sure. I mean, all dogs do seem like they have ADHD, kind of in a way,
For
don't they?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So it's
um
not
we
much of a
just
stretch.
we just drove with Goose down to the Catlins, which is the southeastern corner of the South Island of New Zealand. Love your use of the stubby holder, by the way. Great product placement. The distance of which is about 7 hours, 6.5, 7 hours. And she's so good in the car. Like, it's such a blessing. We just put her in the crate and she goes to sleep. And thank fuck, because if you had to do those kind of distances and she's like nauseous or barking or, biting things or being a menace or whatever, it would be just exhausting and really just turn you off doing any of that shit.
Totes my god. Like Pepsi is exactly the same. We road tripped from Melbourne to
Yeah, that's
Adelaide
even
over
longer.
Christmas,
Yeah.
and she loved it. She actively loved it. She loved getting in
Yeah.
the car every day, and we just like set up her bed so she was sitting in the front, like kind of in the middle console, and just would sleep. I think she thinks she was driving. She might have
Okay.
been at some
Hey,
point.
you did let her, put the paws on the wheel for a second.
We gave her a quick go. you know,
You did the gear
just to keep
shifts,
it
but everything
interesting.
else was her.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I think it's puppy thing though, because if she didn't want to sleep as much as she does, it would be a nightmare. I've never had a dog that wanted to go in the car.
Ever. Interesting. You think it's a puppy thing? You think she's going to grow out of it?
I don't know. I just say stuff. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. How's your Christmas return? Like, I saw you 2 weeks ago in person. Feels like a long
Yeah.
time ago. A lot of stuff's happened.
Return. I'm back at work immediately.
Ah,
What else? I don't know. I built a cabinet. Told you about that.
I mean, I didn't want to spoil the best story of the pod right up front. But if
Yeah,
you're
it's a closer.
gonna,
It's a closer, isn't
it's
it?
a closer.
Yeah.
It's a closer. That's a closer.
Okay.
Welcome to Deep Forward, everybody. This is a podcast that talks about the things that matter, and we are two people who also matter, and we're just glad to have you here. Sitting through the internet with me, my friend Michael, back in Melbourne. Hello.
Hey there, sports fan.
And back in Christchurch after being back in Adelaide and then being back in the Catlins. Hi, Nick. Hi.
Remember sports fan? Remember that was a thing for a minute.
No, do you remember the Australian... Do you remember Skit House, the like Channel 10 comedy show from like early 2000s? And Tom Gleeson played the Australian fast bowler. And he'd run up and he'd just like bowl a ball at someone.
Yeah, I love it when I say something and you say immediately no, and then immediately something else that you're thinking of.
I didn't
That's
say
really
no
nice.
at all. What did I say
You
no
went
to?
no. How do you know a skit house?
What did I say no to?
I've got good ideas too, Nick.
Check the tapes.
Don't do
All
that,
right.
please.
Well, shall we
Not look good for
demote?
me.
Shall we demote the cabinet back to post credits story? I feel like we've set it up now.
Well, here's the thing. So I needed a little cat. This is. I need to set it up like this. I mean, this is not a good story, but
I need to set it up like this. This is not a good story.
the point of the story was this was not meant to. I needed a filing cabinet, just a little one for my cords that's sitting right here now. Just a little one that would slide under my desk. Didn't want to don't like shopping for stuff like this. It's very boring. Very boring. So I just typed in filing cabinet, small, literally click the first one, send to my house, great. Delivered in 3 days. And I was like, fantastic. Didn't even think that I'd have to assemble it. I thought that they'd just wheel it into my room or something.
Twisting.
And it came in this like box and it was unusually heavy. So I just left it in the hallway for like 3 days after it was delivered. Because I was like, there's something off about this box in there, you know.
The vibe is wrong.
The vibe felt very wrong because I was like, well, this is not the dimensions that I saw in the photographs.
It's very flat.
It's
yeah.
a lot flatter. So then it was a Friday night. Friday night, I opened it to see like 5,000 pieces, individual pieces of wood.
Yeah.
So literally this is basically like a 1 by 1 meter little filing cabinet, and literally every piece that you could think would be part of that thing is something that I apparently needed to put screws into, and
This is what's known in the psychology business as an ADHD worst nightmare situation. This is disastrous.
I honestly cried. Because I laid out all of the pieces in the living room, just flabbergasted. And
So
then I got
did you actually open the box, put everything out, and then like make sure you had all the bits first?
I didn't make sure I had all the bits. I wanted to be missing bits at that point. I wanted them to have fucked up, and I wanted them to call me and say, "Hey, sorry, we really messed up. Someone really should have assembled that for you."
There's no handle. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much did you spend on this?
Like $100. This is how much I didn't want it to be a thing. So then I'm just like, I'm in shock and overwhelmed. And then I want to reach out. I want to tell people and share in this. And I got 2 shitty reactions because then I said to Lauren, look at this. I had laid out every individual piece, very dramatic.
Yeah.
kind of procrastinating,
Like
I
a
guess,
fucking
as well.
yeah, 100%. Also, like a little bit of a serial killer. Yeah, this is my
It's
design.
just taking up. I just wanted her to see, and I wanted to anyway. And then she was like, "Yeah, well, that's how these things are done." And I'm like, "Get out of here!" And then I took a photo. I took a video of all the pieces and the manual. Which, by the way, the manual looked like it was like reverse engineered from NASA or something.
It did
And
have a little bit of the vibe of ask AI to generate IKEA manual. And it had sort of like half-assed some of the photos and steps. Like, I'll admit, it did seem unnecessarily intricate.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even show you all of it. Well, yes, I did, actually.
You did.
But
you did. You flicked painstakingly through every page for my benefit.
I'm just thinking, my friend Nick will be with me on this and say, "Hey, that sucks. That's crazy. What are they doing?" And instead, you were like, "That sounds like a really fun night in for someone like me." And I was like, "Fuck all of my friends. This sucks."
Yeah.
So then I did like half of it. I started drinking wine. And then wine, and really started to lose interest after a few hours. So
a few hours.
I stuck with it and most of it honestly was just staring at the manual and muttering words on.
I mean, it's not that big though. A few hours.
Clip that. Just note to the editor. So I got distracted on purpose, and then I finished it the next day, and it was sweaty and it's muggy, and I almost had a panic attack. But I did it.
Congratulations.
And did I do it wrong? Thank
Yes.
you. Some of the drawers, it's a 5-drawer filing cabinet. Some of those drawers will not be opened because I bashed them in. I'm not kidding. The bottom
bashed
drawer,
them in.
I damaged it, but I wanted to go in, and it wasn't. I couldn't work it out, and so I'm a drawer down. But it looks aesthetically like
it's meant to. Yeah.
It's masquerading as a real functional drawer.
Pick it up and show it on the camera.
No, because
pick it up and show it on the camera.
I can't really.
Pick it up and show it on the camera.
That's what you can see.
I can't see anything.
I was going to fuck with the mic setup, which I've got perfectly, actually.
I was just saying, step away from the mic, pick up the filing cabinet, and hold it up in front of the camera.
Oh, that's what you were saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Anyway, it got done, and I'm a hero, and I'm a handyman now.
So, can you come around and do one for me at my house?
I could do that. I could fix a divot, a rivet. Got nails,
a divot and a rivet. You can fix a rivet.
I've got extra fiddly bits. What are they called? Because I didn't use all of them because I didn't think that it needed it. So I've got extra washers and a whole bunch of that crap. So I could do it.
Generally, they give you almost exactly the number that you need for assembly.
In my professional opinion, didn't need it.
So
did not need it.
You can fix a divot and a rivet. Can you just, for my benefit, explain to me what a rivet is and how you fix it?
It's like a thing. It's like an angular kind of like a divot.
Okay, it's in the divot family. Okay, well, if anyone out there listening in Melbourne has rivets that need fixing, just reach out to the Deep Thought Instagram. Send Michael a message directly. We'll get him around there. New segment idea. Michael's DIY, fuck ups.
Mike the tool man Taylor.
You see, he's got a new sitcom out at the moment. Oh, Timmy boy,
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I think is in prison.
Is he?
I think so. I think one of the Tool Time boys is definitely a convict. You'll have to Google for yourself and find out whom.
Well, Tim Allen was a convict as well.
I don't think any of them are good people. But I think one of them is definitely serving time.
Yeah, they're all in prison for the terrible sitcoms.
Yeah. How have you been otherwise? Are you excited for the new year? You're back at work. Are you in the vibe already?
In the vibe, it wasn't that bad. I don't think I work that hard.
Cut that bit out.
It's
Editor.
fine.
Just note to the editor, cut that out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been fine. We've got another dog staying with us at the moment. We're like, I guess it's dog sitting just for a couple of days, but it's like the opposite of Pepsi, who's 8 months old and full of beans, and this dog is really at the end of its life. It's a small dog. I don't know if that's true. I just think it because it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's just lying around in comparison. That seems like it's dead just because Pepsi's a puppy.
And Pepsi just constantly wants to play with it and stuff. And I think it's thinking about killing itself, honestly.
Put it out of its misery.
Just stop feeding me. Just stop. Run it out. How are you going? You tell me things.
I'm doing pretty well. So I came back from 2 weeks in Adelaide, which was really nice. Saw a bunch of people. But it did feel like aggressively social in a way that I like and can handle. But then afterwards, you sort of need to like unwind a little bit. And then after that, after I got back, I was very excited to see Goose and KC. Goose, I was in my head, I was thinking she's gonna have forgotten me. It's been 2 weeks, which in puppy time is years. She's gonna have completely forgotten me. Really gratified to get an amazing reaction at the airport, and she just about flipped her lid. Did a backflip, sang me a song. It was pretty cute, and I immediately felt vindicated, like my hard work had paid off.
Did you cry?
I didn't cry, but I was very happy to see her.
That's nice.
It was also like 1:30 a.m., so it was like a very late time to like have emotional moments. So I just kind of like got in the car. But since that time, we had a couple of days in Christchurch, and then I went down to the Catlins for a road trip with Goose and KC. And that was specifically just so that we could have some time together, with Casey having stayed here over Christmas. And literally just got back in like an hour ago. Started recording like 40 minutes after I walked in the door. So that's my dedication to this pod, people. I've been sitting in a car for 7 hours, and I'm here, to talk about, really important things. Okay. I don't appreciate you undercutting this sort of heroic moment for me with your fart noises.
No, you're a professional.
Oh, speaking of, can I tell you a heroic thing?
Thank you for your service. Yeah, I was done with my compliment anyway.
Well, you can save it for after this, because I have a real story to tell you that is actually pretty impressive. So I'm just saying.
Play the story jingle.
We should have a story jingle. It's about 50% of our podcast is just us telling each other things that happened. In Adelaide, I was driving. Here's a little bit of geography for you Adelaide nerds out there. Heading south from the Decateville roundabout towards Green Hill Road on Fullerton Road.
Infamous roundabout.
They fixed it now. There's 2 roundabouts there in the Decateville roundabout. So it's...
in my professional opinion, made it way more confusing.
Wow. So just to be clear, you're a professional riveter and professional civic engineer.
Well, I'm not saying I'm a civil engineer yet, but I know their intention was to make it, better, that roundabout, which was chaotic. It had like 5 exits.
Yeah.
And like
one
a
of them was
secret
behind
one or
you.
something.
Yeah. The secret one.
And they made more lanes. They made more slip lanes. They made, I don't know what's going on there. I just go the long way around.
You just do 3 laps anyway.
Prospect, yeah.
You just specifically avoid that intersection just for...
I can't
so
do
you don't
that.
have to look at all the signs.
That's advanced driving.
Yeah. Anyway, I navigated it successfully. To be fair, I wasn't driving, but I watched as my sister navigated it successfully. And we were heading south towards Green Hill Road along the Parklands area, and looked over to my right and at the old Victoria Park racecourse, which is now just all grassy, and there's a bit of like a wetland thing going on there. And I look over and see a fire. Fire has broken out on the Victoria Park race course.
You told me this, didn't you? You texted me or something.
I did texted you. I did texted you is what I said, and I'm committing to it. So I look over there and, classic double take situation. Is that a fire? Look away, back again. Oh yeah, that's a blaze. And it was early. Like it wasn't roaring, but it was unmistakably alight. And I said to George, I think the parklands are on fire. And she does a quick look and she's like, oh shit. And I look at her and I'm like, I think I need to call the fire brigade. So I'm in the passenger seat, 000. When was the last time you called 000? Have you ever called 000, Michael?
I've called them many times accidentally whilst drunk. And they were not happy, but never seriously. And honestly, you know what? I've thought about this. I don't even think I would remember. I would dial 911. I don't think I would dial 000. But I know it redirects, I think. But I don't. Yeah, anyway, no.
If you had to guess what the New Zealand emergency number is, what would you reckon it is?
666.
Not bad. Not
Thank
bad.
you.
It's actually a
Off the
triple one because we're just a little better than you. But we
You
call
don't, you don't
000.
have the number 6 in your language. There,
We don't have the numbers.
It's too hard.
So when you're calling 000, immediately your stomach, you're feeling the butterflies. You're like, I've got to perform, right? Like this is serious, and you've got certain expectations. Like
Most people are immediately thinking, "Shit, I gotta be on here. I gotta perform.
I got to get this guy laughing. I don't have much time.
Hook him early. Hook him early.
Hook him early. Like, what's my shortest punchline? So I've got to say, you have certain expectations. He 100% delivered. Guy picks up, barely a second passes. Please pay ambulance. Like so fast that I almost felt like I hadn't entirely heard it. But I was like, okay, we're on. This is it. The drama's real. Please fire ambulance. And I was like, fire. And he's like, where are you? I was like, Adelaide. Which city are you? Adelaide. Where are you? Central City. I said, please hold. And then they, forward you on to the relevant, fire department, I guess, in the area. And there's all these, modem tones, beep boops as they're connecting lines and things. And then it clicks through and the Adelaide Fire Department picks up and they're like, hello. And I start speaking. Here was my first mistake. So apparently the 000 person has some things to say. He's spitting out like numbers, like codes. He's like 615307. And like, I've spoken over that, so they have to repeat themselves. And I'm like, sorry, I didn't know the rules. I didn't know that. I thought I just had to talk as quickly as I could. But they're like, they're spitting like information at each other. And then they address me, and I guess 000 guy disappears. And so I'm explaining, I was at Victoria Park, there's a fire that's just broken out. It looks pretty early, but, it's ablaze, and we're trying to work out where it is, like specifically on the map so they can send, the parklands are a big place and the racecourse itself is a big place. And I'm trying to like dredge out my old like Adelaide street map brain, like what I can't even think of what street I'm on, like let alone what's intersecting with it.
That's Fullerton.
So it's Fullerton.
Which road were you
down.
on?
It was Fullerton.
Yeah, okay.
Heading south Fullerton before Green Hill. Right. But then they're like wanting to know, is it closer to, Spencer or thing? Okay, I don't know. So I pull up my phone and like look on the maps on like real time to try and find this place. And I'm describing the thing and, apologizing, like, sorry, I'm not near it anymore. I was driving past, like I'm literally on Green Hill Road at this point speaking to these people, so I can't even see the thing anymore. And in my head, I'm going like, God, I hope there's a fucking fire. Like, I really hope that's a fire because...
That was the first thing I thought of when you started this.
If I've sent out two trucks to the fucking center of town,
like,
and it's not even
do you get
there,
an invoice then for like... You have to pay for 2 fire
I
trucks
don't
because
know.
you're a pussy and hypochondriac. Or something.
Because I thought I saw and someone was just flying a kite or something. Again, butterflies. Like this is high drama, and I'm not getting any laughs. So it's all starting to build up. Anyway, finally they're like, all right, thank you so much. We'll send out the what do they call them?
Postie.
A vice. No, they call them a specific thing. They call a fire truck like
Police, copper,
a
pig.
Oh, that's gonna bug the shit out of me.
This is a fun game.
The actual trucks they
Ambo.
call. Okay,
Paramedic.
You're not helping at all. What's the name of a fire engine?
Swarm
The full name
of
a fire engine.
bees.
Okay, they're going to send a
hornet's
swarm of bees. Someone at home is
A witch doctor.
screaming. Okay, this is so unhelpful. You could actually just look up for me. They're
It
called
would be great if it was any one of those
appliances
things,
or
so.
something like that.
Appliances.
They call them like a fuck.
Triple
I don't
zero.
know. That's gonna bug the shit out of me. They have a specific word they call them, which always sounds a bit weird. Anyway, please email me because it's gonna kill me. Anyway, so sending out these things, and then we get home, and I, walk in the door, and I say to Mum, "Oh, the craziest thing just happened. I just saw this, this fire break out. So we called 000." She goes, "Oh, really? I wonder if there's." And she opens up her app because she has the SA alerts app or something like that, the emergency services app, and she pulls it up, and sure enough it's like listed as blaze on Fullerton Road, avoid the area, and all this kind of thing. I'm like, oh shit, like this is happening.
Is that a government app or is that like you?
I guess it's government.
Citizens.
I think it's SES. I think it's SES. It must be government. Yeah.
Now,
but
can I just ask a question? How big was
Please.
this from your perspective? How big was the fire? It was like bigger than like a barbecue being set alight, or was
100%.
it trees? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. So I would say at a, fleeting glance, when I saw it, it was at least like 4 meters wide and the flames were getting up to like 1.5 meters tall. So it was
Whoa.
like, it wasn't just, like a spark. It was like actually flames and smoke and shit.
And
so
that's a dry area inside.
That's a really bad place. I was thinking
a
that's
lot of
the other
grass,
thing.
a
I
lot
was
of
like,
dead grass.
it is just
Played a lot of soccer
dry
on there.
fucking grass. Yeah.
I played a lot of soccer on there
gum
growing
trees.
up, and I would
Yeah.
cut my knees. I remember I'd cut my knees when I fell down on the grass because it was that dead.
It's like not a good place to have a fire. The center of Adelaide.
Well,
So
if you're
then,
a fire, it's a great place to exist.
yeah, I mean, it was having a ball. It was loving life. And so anyway, so then I'm explaining this to my mum, and then my phone starts ringing, this random, unknown number. So I pick it up. Hi, this is, fire engine marshal from the, second division thing. Am I speaking to Nicholas? And it is called up to like follow up. And I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? What's happened? And he's like, it's all good, mate. Calling, we've got the thing under control. So thank you very much. I'm like, yes. Okay. Phew. So it did
thank
exist.
you from a firefighter. Oh, that is
From a firefighter.
huge.
Yeah.
You get Boner City over there.
Yeah. Do you say a boner or a bonus?
Not sure.
Okay. Let me check the tapes.
That's great. That's huge.
So then he says, just wanted to know, do you have any idea how it might have started? And this is the other thing, right? Because
It was you,
it is a
you
thing.
cheeky
It is a thing,
devil.
right? Like if you're firebug, some people have that thing where like, oops, I started a little fire and now I'm going to call the fire and watch them,
Yeah, those fire
follow
pixies.
after me. Those fire pixies. And they get like turned on by the idea that, they reported the thing. Michael agrees.
No, I got to get this out because it's gold. Tinderbell.
It's pretty good. That's pretty
That's
good.
pretty good.
That's
Okay.
pretty good.
Thank you so much.
Tinderbells. Tinderbells like to start a fire and then call up the, fire department and make them, come fight the blaze that they created. Those sick fucks. So I am now feeling...
Me again. Now, was his tone, did it feel accusatory or was that you projecting? Or
Totally me projecting. Totally me projecting. So I think they're vibing me out. And in my head, I'm like, you didn't start the fire. So you got nothing to worry about. But in my voice, I'm like, I don't, I was actually driving. So I didn't, and I'm thinking back and I'm like, well, I think there was someone around, but I don't know. But this is the thing where it's like, I genuinely don't know. I wasn't there at the start. I saw a blaze, right? Was there someone nearby? Possibly, but it's the middle of the parklands. I mean, everyone, it's a popular place. People can just be walking by. So I don't know anything. So I'm thinking through like, no, I didn't see it. I was just driving by. And the moment I said, oh, I was in the car, he was like, oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, no worries. Sorry, I didn't realize you were in the car when you saw it. Thanks so much for reporting. But yeah, no, sweet as. And hung up, and that was that. And then, 15 minutes later, the SA Alerts app pings again, fire extinguished. So it was in the space of like half an hour. They got it under control, and it was all over. It was done. And I was like, good deed done for the day.
So that's what you got to say to all the arsonists listening out there.
And then I fled the country.
I was in the car.
Yeah. And then book a flight. Yeah. 3 days later, get out of town.
By the way, great timing on this cute little fire story, Nick. With all the LA stuff going on. Well done.
Yep.
Tell us more about your little fire that got extinguished very quickly in the park.
I do see now how sans context, this is a cute story, but in context, a little bit tasteless. I do see that. And for that, I can only apologize.
I do want to go back to it because I've got more questions, but I would just quickly like to give a shout out to all the victims of the LA fires, and I think it's terrible in this moment. And
sorry, just to be clear, you're giving them a shout out. Shout out to everyone who lost their home. Shout out. Yeah, thanks so much, Michael. Yeah, that really helps.
I'm just raising awareness. I'm raising awareness. Okay.
Shout out.
No, but what else happened with the park fire, Nick?
No, that was my story. You said you had other questions. You wanted to get back to it.
And just to be clear, you didn't do it because it could have been a cool twist if you did.
I'm not going to reveal that now. My lawyers have advised me not to speak at this point.
Yeah.
But stay tuned.
I was just imagining like just getting that call and not thinking that there might be the accusatory side of this, even if you were projecting from the fire warden or whatever. And then just thinking like going back immediately and going, shit, when he asked me to describe the fire, I should probably stop using words like impressive and beautiful.
Sexually charged. Yeah.
Gorgeous flames.
Anyway, you can call me a hero if you want. I won't stop you. I said you can call me a hero if you want. I won't stop you.
Just insert crickets there. Note to the editor.
Okay. Lots of notes you're giving to the editor. Whoever's in charge of this shit better be getting paid. You know what? I'm gonna call it, Michael. It's been 40 minutes. I'm gonna sit down. I think this will change the energy a little bit, but I'm gonna sit down.
Okay. I thought for a millisecond there that you were quitting. Finally. And then I could be free to pod by myself. This is so disgusting, dude, but so beautiful. That was very cinematic, and I think I was imagining the music from 2001: A Space Odyssey while that played, so maybe we'll use that. Yeah, wow. So that's what it's like for Casey.
That's what
it goes down that slowly. Huh?
Yeah, we
just
won't
like
use that.
In an elevator.
Yeah.
What level, sir? Next dick, please.
How do you think gay people interact? How do you think we talk to each other?
Like
why is that
concierge?
Like a 1920s bellhop.
I don't know what a concierge is, to be honest.
They just like do things. For you. They just.
I thought it was an elevator guy. Valet. As a what?
Valet.
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 You saying valet now?
Well, that's
is valet wrong?
Valet's wrong. So yes, it's a valet.
Oh boy, how do you say? What's your favorite champagne?
Campari.
People do that when they say when you go when you say Moe, the champagne.
I mean, it is Moet Chandon, but yes.
But why say it? But why?
Because it's not French.
Feel the need.
It's just because it's not French. Like, why? If you drink a classy beverage, I mean, have some class.
Who cares?
Moet Chandon.
Who cares?
Yeah. Anyway,
That's
Hey,
why I stopped
Michael,
drinking it, to
we're
be
40
honest.
minutes in. I have a little bit of the thingy to do, like a story, actual something of substance. Do you want to do something of substance?
Not really. Can
Well,
I just listen? What do I have to do anything?
yeah. No, it's sort of
Great.
it's like little bits of interesting trivia, and it's based on an article that I discovered called "52 Things I Learned in 2024." This was by Kent Hendricks on his website kenthendricks.com. It's just a list of 52 interesting facts. I'm not going to get through all of them. We're not going to get out through any of them, but I'm just going to read a few out.
But we do have to draw them, all of them,
We have to draw them, and I
on
think
audio.
judging by the amount of like ravenous fans who got into our emails and hit us up about those like logos we drew last week, I think that segment's coming back. I think there's a lot of positive vibes out there.
I hated that you made me post that. I really did. I hated it. I was like, I don't want to do this, but my boy Nicky wants me to post it, and I've got a job to do. And I
Yeah,
posted it.
sometimes an
With a
employee just
complaint
has to do.
built in.
You had a real mental breakdown by the end, and I think that that must have been in the same vicinity as your filing cabinet assembly. And were those
Completely
two things...
separate mental breakdown. Completely separate, actually.
Okay.
Close, but separate.
Okay. Well, nice to know there's multiple ways to get you completely broken up. This is an article called 52 Things I Learned in 2024. Mark, I'm just going to list off some facts and you just react in real time. We're not going to get through all of them, but some of these are interesting.
All right.
Employees who use Firefox or Chrome have a 15% higher retention rate and report more satisfaction at work than employees who use Internet Explorer or Safari. This is because they're less likely to accept the default way of doing things. Michael, what's your browser choice, and do you think you're a bit of a rebel?
Chrome. I'm a Chrome daddy. All the way.
You're a Chrome daddy all the way.
Chrome daddy.
Well, you've always been a bit of a rebel. Now I understand it. Here's an interesting one, Michael. Doctors are 14% more likely to diagnose a child with ADHD on October 31st, not because there are more kids with ADHD, but because the kids are excited to go trick-or-treating on Halloween.
That's hilarious.
So, a lot of subjectivity in medical diagnosis, and apparently you got to pay attention to what they've got on the calendar.
That was the first question when I went through it. The first question my doctor said is, have you just had a bit too much sugar today though, Michael? And I was like, I haven't had any sugar. And he said, we'll go on to round 2.
Yeah, you've passed the first test. Here's one for the gym bros out there. Swearing improves grip strength by 9%, wall sit time by 22%, and plank time by 12%. This is from a study called The Effect of Swearing on Physical Performance. So swear your heart out.
You're doing it.
Swear when
Or
you're
just
doing
generally.
it. Swear and you'll stick it out for longer. That's a great little bit of nuggets.
That's okay. Yeah.
I
I'm
find that
just out there trying not to breathe too loud. But yeah, swear if you want.
Trying not to breathe too loud at the gym.
Constantly. Do you ever be, because everyone's in there with their headphones in, right, at the gym.
Yeah.
And then every now and then you might like take it out and it's like stark how like gross the sounds are. If there's not music necessarily like pumping or playing, and you're just hearing everyone go, and they're just, because no one's thinking that they're making sounds because they're in their noise cancellation. But now I'm very self-conscious.
Well, you just keep your headphones in, then you won't have to worry about it. I have become increasingly less concerned with letting a grunt out. Like I'm still, I won't, try and make noises just to, impress the people around me or anything. But I'm also not gonna I'd rather put that effort into actually doing the thing than suppressing a noise. And so sometimes noises come out that I'm not sure where they came from. And I don't mean in a fart.
We know where they came
I don't mean in a fart. I mean like out of the mouth.
Yeah, a mouth fart.
Mouth fart. Here's an interesting one. I think as the former anthropologist, you'll appreciate this. Every culture has a word for black and white. If a culture has a third word for a color, it is always red. If it has a fourth word, it's either yellow or green.
I stopped understanding that by the end. If it's a
Every
fourth,
culture
okay.
has
Yeah,
words
yeah.
for black and white, and then if there's a third term, it's always red, and if it have a fourth color, it's either yellow or green, but specifically in that order.
Whoa. I wonder if that's interesting. I wonder if some like cultures, not probably not cultures, but like races are colorblind or don't see all the colors. I
That's
don't see
possible.
any color. I don't. I've always said that. I don't see any color.
I think that it starts right with, if you think about like the cultural context, right?
Yeah.
So you have, I guess languages evolve in like thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, right? So your first and most important term is like dark or light, right? Like, is it night or is it day? Like there's a what's the word I'm looking for? Not physiological, like an actual physical reality that you're living in, and that means something important. So it's dark or it's light. That's important. After that, it's red, right? Which is blood, presumably, or danger. And then
Right.
beyond that, you start to see things like grass and sun and like, other surrounding colors. What's surprising to me, blue is stage 5. That's quite low down the list.
That's interesting because sky. Because using that logic
Yeah,
that you were
it's
just
right
talking
up
about,
there. Yeah.
it's like that's the most color.
So this
Green
is
is the
based.
most color.
Green is the most color,
Yeah.
as in
Green's the most color.
there's the the most of it, or in terms of the coloredness, green is the most of it.
I can't
Okay,
explain
you're not
everything
gonna
to you, Nick.
you're not gonna elaborate any further. Okay, well I'll leave some little mystery to it. Walking speed on the streets of New York, Boston, and Philadelphia has increased 15% since 1979. People are walking faster down the street. True or false?
Not where I'm living. Tell you
I
what.
think that's just the increase of gay people in metropolitan areas.
I do. That's my favorite thing about gays is that they are
We
very
love a fast walk.
light on the foot. They're very
Love a
light on the
fast
foot.
walk. We got to get places.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's my number one peeve is slow walkers.
Your number one?
Number one, it's because it happens all the time, and I get so infuriated.
Okay.
I might
Have
kill
everything.
someone.
Okay, well,
I could. I could feasibly get like in a few years, like in 20 years' time, if it keeps happening, I could see a situation where I chase. I don't even need to chase. I'll just be moving past them, and I'll just go train tracks, knock them in.
Who do you want to play you in the Netflix documentary?
Great question. I think I've got like a bit of a Shia LaBeouf energy.
He'll be too old at that
on.
point.
Hold on. Maybe Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd will still look young enough to play you in 20 years' time.
Theoretically.
That's possible. Yeah.
All right, Timothy Chalamet then. Timothy Chalamet.
He's got a bit of like that Dylan vibe. I don't know if you're Dylan-esque.
Okay.
About 25% of the decline of casual sex among young men since 2007 can be explained by video games. 25% of the decline of casual sex among young men since 2007 can be explained by video games.
Haven't felt that one myself. Haven't felt it. I think the number one reason why young men aren't having casual sex, in my experience, is because of just a lack of interest from the female community.
Sure. Well, among young women, the decline in frequency of drinking alcohol explains about 1/4 of the drop in the propensity to have casual sex. So women are less likely to. Women are less likely to sleep with you because they're not drinking as much.
So I'm not the problem.
Yeah. The other one, a growing percentage. So among young men, the declines in drinking frequency, an increase in computer gaming, and the growing percentage who co-reside with their parents all contribute significantly to the decline in casual sex because they're not moving out. They can't afford to move out, living at home, not bringing the girls home.
Why did they choose to say co-reside in that
I
sense?
know. I had to read it like
get
4 times to make sure it wasn't core side. But yes.
mow it.
Michael, after fluoride is introduced into a city's drinking water, the number of dentist offices drops 9%. If you fluoridize the water, you put dentists out of business.
Yeah, and polio goes way up. I don't know if you heard about this, but RFK, big fluoride guy, anti-fluoride
As
guy.
in, yeah, I was going to say the opposite of a big fluoride guy, right?
And if you listen to him, which I do,
Oh, God.
you wouldn't be happy about that. Yeah, dentist visits have
legitimately
gone down,
listened-
but polio's gone up. So.
I legitimately listened to a podcast today on the drive back to Christchurch. The podcast called In Bed with the Right, and they had an episode on RFK Jr. that just basically explained his whole tragic backstory, which was stuff I hadn't really realized. Like, his entire family is fucked up. Like, it's
The Kennedys are famous for it.
Yeah, but like lots.
It's
of
weird because
death.
you kind of don't think of it as a Kennedy in a way.
Yeah, the acronym.
I hope he wasn't on the podcast because he's he's kind of a hard audio listener.
He is a bit. It's unfortunate. No, this was about him, not with him.
Good. He's got great ideas, but terrible delivery.
I don't think either of those things are necessarily true. American baby names trends shifted from family names a century ago to popular names a generation ago to popular endings today. So a generation of people named Jason has given way to babies with son endings like Mason, Jackson, Grayson, Carson. Today, 48% of the top 500 baby names share only 10 endings. So we're all congregating on an ending noise now instead of just a first name, instead of a last name. So you think back about, the cliche of how many Smiths there were and all that kind of thing. That was the
job
trend.
titles.
Yeah, everyone would have a
Yes.
job title for a name,
Trades.
and that would then be the most popular thing that would go around. You don't see Smiths that many anymore. And it's a conscious choice, I think, that people are leaving the name behind and maintaining more interesting names.
Yeah, or maybe no one's having sex with the boring namers.
Well, maybe that's it. You can't get them drunk anymore and expect them to hook up with a Smith.
No, but a Jason Smith.
Jason
Gross.
Smith. I mean, just why even
Get
bother?
a real name like Zobreki.
Zabraki. Here's a fun one. Women are more likely to recommend shorter haircuts to clients they believe are as attractive or more attractive to themselves. I.e., intrasexually competitive women advise other women to cut off more hair. So if you think they're hotter than you advise them to get short haircuts. That's funny.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Those women they can be real nasty women. Okay.
Well, here's the flip side. Heavy metal guitarists who play fast tend to have higher rates of intrasexual competitiveness too. The main motivating factor behind becoming a heavy metal guitarist is not to impress women, but to impress other men. This tracks for me. This tracks.
Yeah, it's the worst. Metal's got to be the worst of the genres.
The worst of the genres?
I don't get anything from metal. I hate it.
What? But there are ones that are like actively grating. Like, what about kids' music? What about like, I don't know, fucking new ska or something? Like
That's not actively grating. Metal is actively grating, like screaming. It's like,
yeah.
go to
get
therapy.
that.
Go
I
to
get
therapy, please.
Here's an interesting question, Michael. Why do we require car seats for children in cars, but not when they're riding on planes?
Well, I guess. Well, that's not that interesting a question, I don't think, because there's less plane
my
crashes.
apologies. Fewer, yep.
Less plane. Yeah. You're a real piece of work, mister.
Okay, well, just say it right, and then I won't have to correct you.
No.
Okay.
I guess there's fluid. Fucking hell. Then I give him a slam dunk. I don't know. There's less plane crashes.
It's
Don't do it.
actually, I'm not going to correct you. It's actually interesting, but so the reason that they're not required on planes is because it would reduce seat supply. So rather than having a kid sit on your lap, right, it reduces seat supply, which raises fares, and that causes more families to drive. So if someone with a child has to buy a seat for their kid, more families will drive because the cost becomes too much. Because driving is more dangerous than flying, for every child, a required car seat would save on an airplane. 60 would die in car accidents because they drove instead of flew. So the benefit to society is you have them on the laps. Flying is safer than driving. That keeps the prices down. More families can fly with their kids and less, fatalities. Fewer fatalities. Fuck.
Welcome to the club, dude. The stupid club.
I think that's a really interesting consequence of that kind of thought process. Someone's gone through and worked out how likely it is that people would die from the car accident.
How about that South Korean plane crash? That was crazy.
It feels like there's been like 3 plane crashes in the past month and none for the previous 5 years. Like all of a sudden, like everything was falling over, like big shot out of the sky, or
Not a good time to sell your Boeing stock, because what a fall from grace.
A good time for that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, but like it just keeps getting. I mean, I guess that they do kind of feel like they maybe are kind of a catch-all for aviation, because I guess they have a monopoly on passenger aircraft, commercial aircraft, whatever. But even like the South Korean one, it was Jeju Airlines. We flew them in South Korea because they're like the cheapest airline. They're kind of like the Jetstar, I guess, here.
Yeah, right.
So we flew them a couple of times, and there's nothing wrong with it. But that's it's terrifying that I think it was like birds. They think birds flew into the engines, and then like just before they landed, which is something that happens all the time. Sully was like the big one that happened to, and then
Sully flew at the geese. That was a choice that he made. Yes. It was sort of a narcissistic drive to prove himself, much in the same way that I light fires and then call up the fire department. Sully went for them fucking geese.
Yes, and I'm really looking forward to the movie about that incident from the geese's perspective, which I believe is coming out
that's
in
2025.
The fall. Yeah, not starring Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
But it will be directed by Ron Howard.
Yeah, after fucking what's that, Hillbilly Elegy? He's moved on to bigger and better things. Yeah.
Ron Howard do Hillbilly Elegy?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh boy, that's not. Apparently, it's a great book. I keep hearing it's.
No, it is not apparently a great book.
You haven't read it? How did you know?
No, neither have you. But the reviews are not like positive about fucking Hillbilly Elegy.
Scott Galloway, who is a guy that I respect and trust, and a lefty, he's an economist. He's like, this is a great book, but he's just the shitty guy. Anyway, let's not get into JD. Jay Dillon.
I'll send you If Books Could Kill episode about Hillbilly Elegy, and you can listen to all the ways that it's wrong.
I'm not going to listen to your hate listen podcast.
Anyway.
They just read. It's so negative.
So negative, yeah. Unlike fucking all your shit. Anyway. Sorry, I came at you pretty hard there. I lashed out. It's been a long day.
I think there was a bit of real in there. Was there a bit of real?
There was not that much real in it. It was more that I just didn't have 10%. An actual insult, and it just fumbled out something that didn't really make sense.
See, that's what happens. Yeah. That's what happens. Sometimes you don't know what to say, so it's just easy to be mean.
Yeah, I get it. Now I finally understand you. If you've enjoyed this podcast and, a little bit of meaningless trivia, well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. We hope that you had a lovely holiday break wherever you were in the world, whatever you're up to, and that you filled it with more episodes of our podcast, because that would really boost our metrics and help us financially support this very expensive podcast. You can find other episodes that you could listen to in the deepfort.podbean.com archive, or scroll down that feed of yours. You can find us on Spotify. You can listen to our Christmas songs up there. Do we have lyrics on those things, Michael? Where are we at with that? Still fucking around?
Dude, don't get me started.
I will not get Michael started. We are chasing lyrics, but one day, somehow, Michael, why don't we just put them up on the Instagram? You love putting up additional content in the Instagram
I put
story.
them up on Instagram. I put them up on Instagram. I
With
can
the
put
lyrics.
them up on the story.
You're putting up the lyrics on Instagram.
I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm not doing that because the ship has sailed. But let me tell you, heads were going to roll. I'll sue DistroKid if I need to. I paid extra for that service. They inexplicably charge you, like, not that much, but like a little bit extra on top of what they do initially to distribute to Spotify, because they automatically do it to Apple and the other ones, but to Spotify they charge. So I was like, I'll fucking click it, even though it's annoying. People on Reddit going nuts about this, by the way.
Yeah.
And I've emailed them multiple times, multiple tickets, nothing. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it, and I'm going to sue them.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
I support you. I'm in your corner. I back you 100%. It's nice to now have a clear list of the number 1 and number 2 biggest myths in the Michael headcanon. Number 1, walking too slowly down the street. Number 2, when DistroKid doesn't supply the lyrics you put in for the Spotify songs when you upgrade it, even though you were charged extra for that specific service.
Correct.
You can contact us at deepfort@gmail.com and tell us what you're up to this holidays. We hope everyone that got in touch about mugs and stubby holders has received them and are enjoying them. Merry Christmas to all.
So do you have a thing for the end?
I don't have a thing for the end, though.
Great, I'll take the reins.
Yeah, here's my other thing, just a reminder, and you can choose. You also asked me to talk to you about Goose Photo on Instagram.
Yes, okay. Goose Photo on Instagram.
You messaged me being
this could be the same thing. Okay. Oh yeah, no, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Actually, so I've got 2 things. It's part of a 2-parter, right? So you did send me a lovely photo of you and Casey and Goose the dog on a hike.
Yeah.
You've sent me a couple of photos with this particular hat, and it's like a bucket hat with a string, and every time I've just been like, whoa, like I haven't said anything, but like I've just been like, it's confused me a little bit.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to. Can you just talk?
You're not the only person who finds it an affronting hat, but let me tell you what number 1 of Nick's myths is, right? This isn't Michael's myths, and this isn't Nick's myths, but we are sort of listing myths. But this is unofficial myths. Number 1 of my list of things I don't like is the feeling of having sunblock on for hours and hours and hours, right? It's just gross, and it's just claggy, and like messes with my pores. The complexion starts, you get pimples. It's just unpleasant. So anything I can do to prolong the amount of time before I have to apply sunblock, I will take. And in my 30s, I'm partnered. I'm not out there, on the streets making eyes with guys as they walk past. I have consciously sacrificed sex appeal for sun safety. I will put a large brimmed hat on when I'm out for a hike because it covers my neck, and then I don't have to wear as much sunblock all the time, and it's just easy. And here's my further point. What's the point of a baseball cap? Because whenever I put a baseball cap on, it doesn't cover anything. I'm still seeing sun from the front. It doesn't cover any of my ears, back, or anything. So what hat am I meant to be wearing, Michael? Like, honestly, if you can solve this for me, that would be appreciated. What hat am I meant to wear?
Well, it sounds like you want a Legionnaire's hat, quite frankly.
This has a Legionnaire's hat.
Oh my God, I didn't even see that in the photo. God.
I know. I understand.
Oh, Nick.
I know.
Nick. Well, look, as I said, you've got a couple of options.
Yeah.
One is you can stop using sunscreen and switch to tanning oil, which is what I exclusively wear. SPF 10.
Doesn't show.
It's the best one.
Doesn't show at all.
Haven't been outside a lot, actually. Number two, there are other hats that aren't ugly that could function how you want them to. Maybe a
But what
sombrero.
style? What am I? A sombrero.
Well, I mean, maybe you could go real like goofy because I think it's kind of in that uncanny valley of hats where it's like, is this a joke? But then I don't think it is a joke, and then
Gotcha.
like,
It's
okay,
too confusing.
You need to go extreme.
Okay.
What about a bucket hats are kind of cool now. I don't know, you might look in a bucket hat.
Bucket hats coming back in again from 90s again. Like, I don't mind that idea. It does cover the ears. It does give you a little bit of that neck shade. But I don't know. I don't feel like that any practical hat has style. I think you either pick style or you pick practicality. And I don't think there's a middle ground. And I don't think you can... Yeah, if I'm out hiking, and you know, I have enough dignity to not wear this, like, down the street. But if I'm out hiking, I'm not the only person with a hat like this, I have to say. Like, when I'm out on the trail, everyone has some kind of silly hat on. Everyone's got it strapped around the chin because you're up on the mountain or whatever. Like, it is kind of the vibe of New Zealand.
I get that. I mean, other people who are kind of hikers, I guess they kind of give up on that, so like appearing.
Yeah, well, if you haven't showered in 3
nice.
days or whatever, you know, like, you're not really caring about hat style. Like, you're looking at functionality.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fair enough. Look, I'm just glad that you're kind of aware of it. It's already on your radar.
You're not the only person. Like, I have a friend here who has also made that same point about that same hat, and I have been threatened that if I ever wore it around her, she would grab it and throw it in the bin. So you're not alone. I get it.
Can you send me her contact? I'm just going to send her flowers.
Erica's getting a shout out. Yeah.
Shout out to Erica. All right. Well, that was pretty much it. But I also just discovered that. So you would always send me things on Threads. You know the social media platform known as Threads.
Familiar with it? Yes.
Right. So I never had Threads.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I know I always liked the things that you sent me, but I never saw one of those. I never saw one of the.
Okay, you never clicked through one. You can still view it in a browser. That's okay.
Never did it because I thought I needed to get the app because it would prompt you. So I lied to you. I'm just going to say I lied to you. Okay. I said, "Hey, that's great, funny." Never saw it.
Well, it still tickled me, so I still got the pleasure from it I needed.
But I was holding out for a while, and then they were doing that annoying thing, which is kind of genius, and it worked, where they give you a snippet of like a thread that looks really juicy. Yeah. And I can't remember what it was, but it was particularly juicy and hit the spot. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just cave. Got it. Then discovered you're very active on there, aren't you? Very active indeed.
I don't think I'm crazy active, but go ahead.
I would say crazy active. Just going to read a couple of these.
Like one tweet every week.
This is not necessarily to make fun of you. I'm not necessarily. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I just want to bring attention to it.
You want to say it and then work out whether it's mean after the fact.
I want the viewer to just the listener.
Okay.
This is one from November. Toast can be so dry and crunchy sometimes. I wish you could buy it soft. That's pretty good, actually.
That's a go. That's a little joke.
That's not bad. It feels like Spotify lost a bet and now has to actively worsen its UI UX with every single update. Honestly, this close to switching to Apple Music.
Yeah. I'm just, nice to have a place to vent, connecting a lot of people. I think if you scroll down to the bottom of that post, you'll see hundreds of likes and lots of comments of people also sharing their opinion. So yeah, actually making fun of me of something that was very popular and well responded to.
May of last year, one might expect a newspaper like the New York Times to understand the difference between an acronym and an initialism. There you go again. Calling out the New York Times.
They should know the difference.
The gloried. The gloriful.
They should know the difference. It's a fucking paper record. You don't know the difference between an acronym and an initialism, you piece of shit. What are you fucking doing?
What's crazy here is that
I was very annoyed at that.
The New York Times actually replied to that.
Oh yeah. So please read.
I'm so sorry thank you for bringing this to our attention. I don't know how this slipped through the cracks. Cracks is spelt with just a K, which is weird.
Yeah, KS.
You might have a point here. Please accept our forgiveness. We love you so much. You're brilliant.
And they
you,
spelt
Nick.
forgiveness. You'll see this here. They spelt
With a
forgiveness
4.
with a number 4, which
Like
I thought
4chan.
yeah. There's a lot of 4chan and New York Times overlap these days, which is shocking, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I just thought it's just weird, when you see. I guess it's like when you.
It's like
when
reading
you see
someone's
someone
diary,
outside of work or something. I don't know.
like bumping into your teacher at the supermarket.
Yeah, the context. I was like, oh, what have I discovered here? It's like
Yeah.
it does align, but anyway,
Yeah.
wasn't meant to
I
be
thought
funny,
you were
it was
going
just-
to give shit about the fact that Goose has an Instagram account, Goose.beagle on Instagram.
Fuck. Okay, so
That's what I was setting you
Yes.
up for. That's what I reminded you about.
right. I didn't write that down in my. I think I just messaged you. Yeah. So your dog has an Instagram account, and
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. So it's Casey. I think this is going to win you over very quickly. Casey took his existing human Instagram account for himself with all of his 250 friends, deleted all of his photos, changed the name and the URL to goose.beagle, and started uploading dog photos, and just renamed it This Is a Goose Account now. So all of his
very funny.
former friends who he never posted to on Instagram now get dogs and dogs in their feed, which I think is actually
That is
very
funny.
funny. Yeah.
He insta transitioned.
Yeah.
Insta-trans.
He's Insta-trans. Goose.beagle on Instagram if you want to go see photos of Goose. I mean, why wouldn't you? She's the best dog in the world.
Okay, damn. I wish that was going to be more funny too.